You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is go for your phone with the purest intentions, of course. You want to check the weather, you want to see how cold it is outside, you want to check the time, obviously, and then before you know it, within minutes, you find yourself embroiled in X-rated content. What the heck, where did that come from? Tens of minutes or even an hour passes by before you realize that you should really get up and that you haven't really accomplished anything that day other than tossing and turning in your bed and you're private sore from continuous arousal. Now, does that story sound familiar to you? Well, it sure does to me, because it happens to me quite a bit, unfortunately. So guys, yeah, I do not have any other addictions, but I don't smoke, I don't drink, I have slight alcohol intolerance, perhaps, because my body really doesn't really like to ingest alcohol in any shape or form, and smoking is, I just find it gross. Other kind of addictions never really crossed my mind, to be frank with you, but yeah, I may have a P problem. So do I really have it, guys? Well, you know, there's one way to find out, and that is to check for symptoms. Now, the first symptom of P addiction would be compulsive consumption. What does that mean? It means that P pretty much takes up your entire mind, your focus, your concentration. All you ever think about it is that. You can focus on other things for brief amounts of time, but it just keeps crawling back and, you know, grabbing you by the scruff and just pulling you back down into that dark alley of addiction. And yeah, do I check that box? Well, in some ways I do. I wouldn't say like 110% or like positive, but yeah, sometimes thoughts of X-rated thoughts, so to speak, really do kind of fill up my mind, and I sort of fail to focus on other things, or I do focus on them, but only for a limited amount of time, and I just keep going back to that thing. My mind is obviously already hooked on it, so I would say that the first box, that one, yes, I do check that. The second thing, increased tolerance. Well, usually P addicts, they keep craving newer and more extreme sensations, so once they get their fill of a certain kind of P-ography, so to speak, they move on to what seem like greener pastures to them, more extreme forms of the same thing. So do I check that box? I kind of do, yeah. I've noticed that over the years. I've been you know, sort of focusing on more and more extreme forms of stuff that I usually like. But the truth is that I like really soft forms of P as well, and some things I perceive as P that aren't actually that. So I remember back in the days when I was like really young, I used to perceive women's professional wrestling as such. It would arouse me to no end, and yeah, it was actually a kind of a hardcore P substitute for me. As weird as that may sound, and I believe that there are many other people out there like myself in that regard, so it's not even that rare of a phenomenon to happen, to perceive something that's not even porn, to develop a sort of a fetish for it, and to perceive it as like a really hardcore action, X-rated action that that really turns you on. So yeah, I would say that I do actually check that second box as well. Number 3, withdrawal symptoms. Well, in this regard I'm a little bit more ambiguous, because you know, what do withdrawal symptoms actually mean? They mean that if you try to wean yourself off of an addiction, you have adverse reactions to the lack of content that you like to consume. In my case, that doesn't really seem to be an issue, because I can go weeks without you know, falling back into the rut of P addiction. But what I have noticed is that my addiction becomes a lot more voracious afterwards, after periods of withdrawal. So it really pulls me back a lot more vigorously than before, and I do experience periods of much more extreme sort of addiction. So my mind is a lot more preoccupied with extra thoughts, and yeah, but only when I get the opportunity to do so. Like if I'm really busy with something, then I just tend to forget about these things entirely. So I don't know, I would say I'm like 50-50 on that withdrawal symptom issue. I guess it doesn't actually, they don't actually bother me as much. So yeah, I'd say I do not check that third box. The next issue, interference with your daily life. Well, in that regard, I'm quite alright. I do get some interference, sometimes, but not all that often. My choker seems to want to rotate by itself for some reason. I just can't figure out why. Well, anyway, P does not interfere particularly with my daily life. Sometimes it does, but only when I kind of allow it to. So when I get the opportunity to think more about it and to actually indulge in the addiction, then yes, it sort of does take up a little bit more time than it should. But otherwise, I can perform my daily functions well, and you know, kind of like a functioning P addict, I guess, in that respect. So I'm a little bit 50-50 on this issue as well. So I'd say that I don't entirely check this box either. Number 5, escalating consequences. Well, I wouldn't say that I faced such escalating consequences in any shape or form. I've managed to sort of keep my addiction in the background, and yeah, I'm a really private person, as you have probably realized by those who have interacted with me directly, and I'm not really that outgoing, and I don't like to involve other people in my addictions and X-rated things at all. Like I keep it really all of it to myself. Which is weird that I have brought it in front of you today, but just bear with me, because there's a reason behind why I decided to do so. Alright, that takes me to question number 6, repeated failed attempts to quit. Now this is part of the reason why I decided to bring this thing out in front of you guys, in front of the entire internet, basically. Because I have tried many times to quit this addiction of mine, and well, thus far I haven't exactly been successful. I haven't indulged in it for a long while now, but I know that it sort of always tends to rear its head again, and I do not entertain any kind of delusions in this respect and false hope either. I know it's just around the corner. I know it's lurking in the dark and just waiting to grab hold of me again. So yeah, I've tried this many times. I do tick this box 110%. I absolutely would love to quit, and I am even currently on a quitting sort of spree. And that brings me to the reason why I decided to go public with it. You know, guys, this thing tends to sort of woman handle me and do with me as it pleases. And it's the first time, for the first time in my life, I kind of decided to deal it a blow, so to speak. Whenever, you know, I'm out with friends and, you know, having discussions and with other people, and whenever the issue of addictions comes up, people are always like, oh well, this is the guy who has no addictions whatsoever. And I'm just sitting over there and I'm like, yeah, okay, I wish that were true. But obviously P addiction isn't something that you can you know, just bring up anywhere and just talk about it anywhere. Like, oh well, by the way guys, I do have this kind of thing going that maybe you should know about. And this way, it always sort of remains tucked in a sort of dark corner of your psyche, never having to face any kind of scrutiny. And the reason I decided to go public about it was to grab this gosh darn thing by the scruff and just drag it out into the limelight and see how it likes it. Because thus far it's always been protected, it's always been hiding, it's always been hidden away, and for the first time ever, now it will have to face the limelight of publicity. So let's see what kind of an effect that has on it. The final box to check: a loss of interest in hobbies and in things that one enjoyed to do in the past, to indulge in the past. Yes, I definitely am guilty of that, although it is questionable exactly how much of this loss of interest I could write up to P0rn Addiction and how much being just overworked or being preoccupied with other things in life. Cross-dressing is a hobby of mine, and I'm glad to say that I have not lost interest in it. As a matter of fact, yeah, I love it. I wouldn't say I love it more than ever. I have noticed a little bit of a sort of a downward tendency in my excitement to cross-dress, but that said, nonetheless, it is sort of moving on to a different plane of my existence, so it is indeed very much part of who I am, and it probably will be all my life. So, yeah guys, so do I have P0rn Addiction? Well, by the looks of things, it looks like I do. Now then, P0rn Addiction may be my only addiction, but that doesn't make it any less destructive, and I would definitely love to address it. If you guys have had similar experiences, please let me know in the comment section. Use it, that's why it's there, and leave a comment or two, and the like does a lot of good for the algorithm as well. So if you like my video so far, hit that subscribe button and make sure you join my channel. I plan to post a lot more of cross-dressing related stuff here. Well, another thing about my P0rn Addiction is that I actually have a partner in crime. In all honesty, there's a person who kind of feeds my addiction, with whom I'm really close. So one of my best friends who also knows about my cross-dressing and about everything. And this person tends to sort of feed the fire. And the thing is that I can't just cut this person off, because this person means a lot to me. And I've known this person pretty much all my life. So that is out of the question. So I'm going to have to find a way to kind of circumvent this issue. Maybe just sort of be upfront about it and discuss it with this person and try to sort this thing out. But yeah, guys, so the advice, normally the advice would be that if there's a person who feeds an addiction of yours, just cut that person off and you know, make sure you never actually have to deal with them again. But in my case, as I stated, that isn't exactly an option. So, well, that's it for this video, guys. Chime in with whatever thoughts you may have about P0rn Addiction or about X-dressing in general. Or, you know, if you just want to tell me something, that's okay as well. And, you know, subscribe, ring that bell button so you get notified every time I upload a video. And check me out on other forms of social media as well. I'm on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram. I'm even on Flickr, I believe. So, yeah guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you really soon. See you around. Bye-bye.